Just remember, Durst is the worst.
Durst the worst, bitch.
A lot. It's actually, we have the most biodiverse part of the county. It is right here in our neighborhood along the Milwaukee River, which is another reason why like developing it is really contentious, because it's the only wild space left.
There's a certain amount of just ignorance that will happen that will lead someone to take a hammer and nail at the sign and nail it into a tree, and they don't realize that they've just made a death sentence on that tree. They have no idea how devastating to that tree in one day is. Do you enjoy the nature? Let's start with you, Todd. How much of the nature have you
sun
gone to
worshiper.
nature days? Have you gone to the lake to watch a sunrise? Have you go along the river?
I used to go to the lake a lot growing up in Milwaukee, but I haven't been in a while. Especially like now with a lot of heavy police presence.
Yeah, man.
You don't feel
It's hard.
comfortable anymore.
It's hard. Yeah, you don't feel safe. There's no law enforcement along the Milwaukee River ever.
Oh, okay.
Ever. I've never seen one, and actually there are groups that want there to be people down there only because mountain biking is illegal down there, but a lot of people mountain bike down there, but there's no enforcement for it.
Can I just say, I think there's one exception to that. I know people who like to hang out under the bridges at night.
I guess the cops go down there.
Yeah, cops go
sometimes,
down there. But other than that,
Certainly Lake Michigan has had. And I think that's what you were talking about, Tom, is not only the police presence, but the reason the police are there.
Yeah, but I mean, it was cool. Like, I mean, when I was a teenager, it was like 2010, 2011, 2009. So like, it was cool without so many heavy police presence. And then it's like it's there, like it's creating more tension or something.
it's a little bit of a catch-22, right? Because they feel like they need to protect the people that are down there, but their presence can often create more havoc than if they were not there.
Right. So that sounds like I'd rather just stay away from it. But it seems like the Milwaukee River might be the good spot.
Dude, it's legit. And what's great
Is
about
that like where like the pier and stuff is?
no, not even so. Just down Center Street where it ends, you can go down to there's stairs right at the end of Center Street. Go across Humboldt. There's some stairs. You can go down to the river. There's a bike trail that was paved. I don't know how many years ago that was, but that used to just be a dirt trail. But now it's paved and it connects to the Oak Leaf Trail. You can get on bike trails and walking trails all over the city from right here in the neighborhood. You can get down to
Oak
North
Leaf.
Avenue. You
I
can
love
get
the Oak
down
Leaf.
to Brady Street on the
Oak Leaf
paved
is
path.
awesome.
And then lower on the bluff down by the river, there's a walking path. It's supposed to be a walking path, and some people do other stuff. But you can walk right along the edge of the water, and you can just see like turtles and ducks and all kinds of sweet flowers and birds. And there's beaver down there, which there weren't for a long
Seriously? How
time.
close to the city are the beavers?
In the down here by the river, in the neighborhood,
That's
like
crazy.
like right in the woodlands. It's like last year was the first time they saw beavers again for like a long time.
Yeah.
So I mean, they took out the North Avenue Dam in 1997, and since then there's like a lot more effort
Influx
put
of
in
wildlife.
into like keeping the space wild and like supporting the plants and animals that are there. So just even in the last 20 years, the river's changed for the better a lot, and I think like it's becoming a lot cleaner. There's a lot less trash. There's a lot more people doing cleanups and
Well, you and I do
using
the
space.
river cleanup every year. The river cleanup, who sponsors that?
I think that's a River Keepers, Milwaukee
Yeah.
River Keepers.
It happens often on my birthday.
Yeah.
So in late April, Erica and I have done it several times together. Clean up trash along the river on my birthday.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Carol, you had something you wanted to say.
I was just gonna say, I just took a church member that's close to 80 down there by the lakefront, and
Oh,
we
that's
were just
awesome.
sitting on the bench, looking up at the sky, looking at the people on the river, on the lakefront, just sailing. And I'm glad you brought the animals to my attention now, because that's something else I can
what's
take
up?
care of. We should just
Actively
get outside,
avoiding
I can
people.
take
I just
her,
came
sit
for
out there and
popsicles.
Relax.
Oh, there you go. You got fancy pants ones.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Any mobility issues, go
Peace. Good to see you.
east side.
I love seeing you.
There's a ramp that you can go down, so it's not. You can take steps, or you can use a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the east side of the river, they made it wheelchair accessible, like legally. At North, you can go down there, and also by Locust at the
Yeah, I
Urban
was gonna
Ecology
say, Locust
Center,
has enough.
they have in the woodlands. They have like some paths that are pretty like comfortably graded, and then you can get by the river on the. So it's like the idea, I guess, that we're talking about with the river now is like we already have developed the east side of the river in this corridor to be wheelchair accessible, to be for families, to be for all kinds of things. So can we leave the other side for the plants and the animals to live there? Because they don't have anywhere else to go. That's where they live, and they're not going to be on the radio talking about how they just want to live right now. So you know, there's all these people just trying to say like, we're not trying to keep people off the river, but on this side of the river where it's already wild, let's just keep it wild. And I think that it's
There he
strange
is.
that it is a combative
Alan!
position, but it actually is a combative position.
Right. People think you're taking away their right to commercial success, industry. What you gonna do with that phone? Presidential.
Make a call. Make a phone call.
Like something real because money.
Surf the web.
To people.
Record a band.
To something that is going to last a long time. I think kind of the world needs to start imagining itself. Cultures need to start imagining themselves 500 years in the future.
Right.
And like when I say, well, what do you think the United States will be like in 500 years? People will say, I don't think it's going to be around. Well, you can't think that way because you need to plan for a successful species.
Yeah.
A successful natural environment.
Yeah.
And you have to really plan that way. If you think that this is all for you in your lifetime,
Right.
you're hurting all of your descendants and all of your friends' descendants.
Well, and even just to zoom out the conversation from the river and even just like environmental justice is like, on our show, that's pretty much what we talk about all the time. Is like, how should we be living? What's really going on, and why aren't they really telling us what we think? Why aren't we hearing what we want to hear, and why aren't they saying what we want to know? And that's what we talk about, like, take feminist perspectives on sports. We talk about the city and like how there's all these rad things that women and young people are doing. So mostly we interview artists, educators, and organizers, but doing all kinds of stuff, whatever they're doing. Whether, you know, so we talk about, we're called all the things because we talk about lots of stuff. So I just feel like I could sit here all day and
lots of stuff.
It could be called lots of stuff, but it's currently called all the things.
Well, sometimes I just sightsee. I just go through because this is our hometown. Sometimes I just ride around Milwaukee and I said, wow, we have a beautiful city here, you know?
Oh my gosh, don't we?
We do.
I left for a long time. I lived other places, and I was like, I'm going back to Milwaukee. It's way better
for
here.
10 years,
Stay
and
away.
God brought me back. He said, this place, come back.
I was gone for 15 years and I
Really?
came back. Actually, what am I saying? 25 years and I came back.
That's different.
Yeah, I like having Lake Michigan, and there's something that you miss when you're in the middle of rural areas where there isn't a giant lake. And a lot of people here take it for granted. I love just going there. I mean, it's a mile and a half from where we're west. It's a short walk.
Hand jobs for hobos.
Yeah!
Beautiful setting.
Back in the day, man.
You started that.
It was with me and Burke from, I haven't talked to that dude in forever, though.
104.1 FM Milwaukee. We are live.
Do you still see memorabilia for that around?
I kept it. High school crap.
The people have told me that they've seen those stickers around still to this day, but I haven't seen one.
We need free.
We got a shout out from Matt Besser from Upright Citizens Brigade. I don't know if you remember that show, but
Anyone that wants to skate.
that dude, like, we entered our song into a contest of theirs, and like he reviewed us with like a blurb or something.
Talks with Todd.
thought it was funny.
Love, relationships, and dating, targeting millennials.
See you later.
And your real name is
Take it easy.
Netta?
Yeah.
You go by Todd just to confuse all of the listeners who think this
I'm
Todd
a girl.
sounds like a.
I mean, it's not
Girl.
confusing. It's called a nickname, Martin.
I'm just saying that we have a few different shows where it's confusing. Like there's a show called The Grass grass is greener. For the first time ever, 2 weeks ago, they talked about marijuana. It's that the name of the host is Gary
Legalize!
Grass. And so there's a lot of confusion on that one. No, and so thank you, Todd. Really appreciate your show. I love having you on.
I loved what you had to say.
Thank you.
I didn't know you had to say that.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, if you think she doesn't have passion, then here.
All right, so I'm gonna start a conversation and then walk away. Are you ready for this? So earlier we were talking about the small press that I looked up. I went inside and
Yes.
found it. So it's called Crispin Books. It's a Milwaukee press.
Crispin
they have
Books,
a
y'all.
sister press.
Just remember, Durst is the worst.
Subscribe, bitch.